Morning YouTube, it's Lynn again from Perth. I'm just showing you what an absolute mess I've made out in my shade house. But there's good reason. I'm cleaning in-house, or I should say in a shade house. So everything's come down. I'm just starting to put back things today, and most of it is chucked up in that corner. Quite a bit in trays down here, but I'll just show you what I've done to start and why I've done it. I've actually put new shade cloth up the top, up there, because everything, well not everything, but so many things were burning and just literally dehydrating. So I've bought myself some solution. I'm just going to hope I'm not moving too fast. This is it. I've made this up. It's called, one of its names is Envy, and I can't remember what the other one is. It stops transpiration. It saves up to 50% of your water loss on your orchid leaves. So as I'm putting them back, I'm spraying them. So I also adjusted the shade cloth on the back there. It looks a lot tidier now. My friend said it looks like a gypsy's house or gypsy camp, so I thought I'd better maybe tidy it up. Anyway, so mostly on this bit here, I've just started this morning. This is my monopodial section and Vandaceous types. So at the moment I've got some Angraecums. I think I've got all my sarks out, and most of these sarks, or Sarcochilus, in case you don't know what I'm talking about saying sarks, most of these are from a deceased estate, and they were in such poor condition when I bought them. I didn't think most of them would survive, but I've only lost a few, and they were the much smaller ones, and they're looking brilliant. I've had them for maybe 18 months now, and only maybe one or two has flowered, but I'm hoping for great things next flowering season. So you can see some burns on this one, but they are looking brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So just got to be careful where I put my feet here in case I tread on some plants. This is an Angraecum now. I don't know if you can see, but look how dehydrated that plant is. I've got a Stanhopeia here. That's burnt. This one you can see the burning. And in this corner here I'm putting my Chisis. So I've got two nice big Chisis orchids here. This is Chisis aurea, a species, and I've started my Cymbidium shelf or rack over here. So these are all the bulb types. I'm just trying to think. Sympodial orchids over this side, mostly being on Sidinae. And I don't know, I'm looking at this one, I don't know what this is. Oh yes, it's a weird one. No, it's not, it's Chocolatum. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one hand because I've got my tea in the other. I can't really see it, it's too dark now that I've put the extra shade cloth up. So we're starting to get the Oncidinae over this side. Down here I've got orchids in trays that are going into another aisle. They're just sitting here so that I can walk down the other places or around the other places. These ones here, I've got them down here. They're really low, almost down to the ground. And I don't know if I've shown you these before. I might have done them on another video where I've been buying orchids at shows. So this one's the best one, and I've got three. I thought I had four, but I've got three. And it is rather a strange one. You may not be familiar with this. It's an Epigenium cymbidioides. And it's got a really pretty white flower, which vaguely resembles a very small Cymbidium flower, and that's why it has that moniker. It's a species. Now, this came from the real deep south of the state, where it's much, much colder. They do get hot days, but they get a big rainfall each year. high rainfall, I should say. They get lots of wind down there, and these flower 3, 4, 5 times a year, so I'm reliably informed by the man who sold them to me. But they haven't reflowered for me yet. Now that could be because they're acclimatising. I only bought them last year, so they may take a year, 18 months to actually get used to my climate. But I've got great hopes for them anyway, because they really are quite pretty. Now, what else was I going to tell you? I've been cleaning the ground. I've been picking up the bark and the rubbish from the ground, and all my old bark is going in here to be recycled. Excuse me, got a frog. What will I do with that? I'll soak all this in bleach solution, and then I'll get some screen of some kind, maybe some shade cloth, and I'll spread it all out in the brilliant sunshine that we have here in Perth and let it dry for a couple of days, and that will kill anything, I think, that is growing in there that shouldn't be in there. There's a few more cymbidium that not cymbidiums, a few more oncidiums which will have to go up very shortly, and there's another, it looks like an angrecum, I hope I haven't lost the label on that one, which is a recent one, and that was starting to dry out, so I've just given it some root hormone, some sea salt, and I've found a few that had scale, really thick scale. They're out the back, and I've treated them. And for treating scale, I'm going to refer you to Ed's Orchids channel on YouTube, and see if you can find his video. It's only about 8 minutes long, on how he treats scale, and I've adopted this method. Now, in the orchid societies that I belong to, which are 4 of them, they're very traditional. A lot of the members are aged but very knowledgeable, and they're not always amenable to learning new things, particularly from new growers like myself. But I like to think that I've got an open mind, and I like to think out of the box and a bit laterally if I can, if I've got the power to at the time. And I actually follow some of the advice that's given on YouTube, because you guys too, you all have lots of experience from all over the world. Anyway, getting back to Ed's video on treating scale, I've been using that method now for probably 3 years. I've taught it to a few of my club members and my really close friends, and they're all very skeptical at first, but now they think it's brilliant. So thank you, Ed, for posting that, and I'll just put a little addition to that. I don't know if he did it, but there's actually an item published in the Royal Horticultural Society from England about Ed's treatment. So if they've recognised it, then they must be believing of the treatment. That's all I can say. So yes, I've got a hell of a mess here. I've got this huge big cattleya, and I've just noticed this morning it's got 2, what do you call it, sheaths, and there's something in them. So this is a hybrid. Now where's the other one? I'm sure I saw 2. God, don't you hate that? Oh no, I've broken it. Oh, you silly woman. I just dropped something. Look, there's a sheath, and it's got a flower in it. Let's transilluminate here. See, transilluminating, that means bringing in the light from behind it. You can see, oh, I could cry. Oh, darn. I dropped something on it, see, because I've got so much stuff all over the place. Never mind. Never mind. So, what a mess, hey? I've got days and days and days of work out here to do. This area here, I'm thinking that possibly, if I got this bunch of orchids, which are all very large, onto this one here, this side here, because eventually I'll move most of these and put them where they belong, back with their groups. And then I've got this whole wall, which I could possibly use as an isolation area. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking. And I've got a couple of spikes here. I digress from my theme, but here we go. I've got a couple of spikes on this one, and this is a dendrobium hybrid, and I think it might be a couple of Aussie plants in here. I'm not sure, but they look like they're hard cane dendrobiums. And this is Den Awesome Perfectly, not perfectly, perfectly, by or with Candice Plus. So that should be out, I don't know when, but in the not too distant future, so you'll get a look at that when it blooms. Look at my poor little Vanda here. They don't do well for me. They do not do well. It's just too hot. So my cymbidiums, they're sitting there. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I don't know whether I'm going to leave them out here or not. Because they're so close together, they were getting scale, so a couple of them are out the back. They've been treated. So I've got lots of decisions to make, lots of cleaning up to do. I've also been asked to do a video by one of my viewers on the mix I use. So that will be coming shortly when I've got this mess sorted out, and I'll show you all the mix that I've got. And I don't just buy small bags of mix. This is an empty bag. So this is how I grow my, I buy my mixes. And they're in big bags, like that's a 50-litre bag down there. I usually use Orchiata, but I do have a couple of Osgrow bags, depending on where I buy them from and how urgently I need them, because the Osgrow comes from a nursery. So that's my bark. I use charcoal, but I shouldn't be doing this now. I should be doing this in my mix. So you can see I've got a whole big bucket, because I buy things in bulk that's full of charcoal. I don't think you'll be able to see my bags of bark if I take you through, but let's go just have a look just in case. So I'm just putting the light on in my little shed. So there's my bags of bark, and I buy big barks of Orchiata. My perlite, I buy that in bark. I have to keep it in bin. Well, I don't have to, but it's easier if I keep it in bin. So you can see I've got a wheelie bin there that's full of perlite. So just take that as I need it. And these two bags are really fine. Oh, what's that? Oh, I can't think of it. Anyway, while I'm thinking of that, I'll show you. I've got bags of pumice, and this is not cheap. This is $40 just for that bag, and it's not a big bag. So I have a couple of those. Oh, this is the stuff I was telling you about that I'm spraying on the orchids. Hope you can see okay out here because we're a bit in the dark. Wilt Knot, and this is made by Yates, and it's in this little bottle because I had to buy a 5-litre bottle or carton, and it cost me sort of $80. So what I've been doing, I'm transferring it, and I probably shouldn't be, but I am, transferring it to 200ml bottles, and then if anyone wants it, they can buy it, and I'm selling it for about $5 or $6. It's a great price for anyone who wants a little bit. See, I only need small bits. I don't need 5 litres. That'll probably last me for the rest of my life. And those bags contain minuscule polystyrene, which I'm adding to my mix. So that's another video. We'll go on to my mix another day. So what's that sitting here? Oh, I'm just trying to make a pot holder for this one. I knew I had another chisis somewhere. I'd forgotten about this one. So I'm just trying to make a holder for this so I can hang it, because I didn't have anything the right size to hang that one. And it hasn't got a lip on the top of the pot that I can actually put one of those black hangers on. So I've got to make that today and hang it up. So yes, what a horrid mess. What a horrid mess. It's going to take me days to get this sorted. But anyway, I'll get there. Slowly but surely, I'll get there. So I'm going to post this now for you. See you next time. It won't be long before I post another. When I get another shelf or another rack done, I'll do another post. Bye for now.